Students, I hope you are well. Just by show of hands, just let me know if you can hear me. Great. Thank you so much, Oratile. Thank you, thank you. It seems that the students attending today are the students that I actually interact with quite a bit. So that is wonderful to see. Um, so I, in a sense, feel like I know some of you a bit better because we do interact via email, etc. So I've actually communicated with, I think, at least two of you just this morning. Okay, so the purpose of today's class is really just to do a very general feedback session. I'm waiting for our final tutorial letter 201. Um, to be completed. I just want to make sure, apologies, that I'm sharing this window. Okay, yes. So yes, I am just waiting for the final 201 before I upload that onto my UNISA. We are uploading assignment 3, which is the exam portfolio, tomorrow morning. It's just come from the external moderator. And it will be dealing with study unit 5 and study unit 7. So by the end of this week, there will also be lectures on those two study units. So they will be up on my UNISA either by the end of this week or early next week. And so then we will start our preparation for the exam portfolio. But yes, for the purpose of today, I'm just going to share, and I didn't do a presentation, I'm just going to share what I have found to be the most pressing issues in the submission of assignment 2. And I'm going to start with, and there will be further sessions, if not presented by me, presented by someone in the department, or we will upload external videos for you. But our biggest issue was the unethical use of AI. So when you submit your assignment to Turnitin, there is a similarity report, which indicates plagiarism. That we know we interpret that report because a lot of times it picks up, for example, the declaration, it picks up the table of contents, and it will flag things like that. We know how to interpret that. So that plagiarism Turnitin report is never, unless we pick up something that if something is flagged, it's generally not such a big deal. But then Turnitin also generates a AI similarity report. And I want to actually show you, and I'll screenshot an example for you, and also post that for you. So it indicates two things. It indicates either sort of the complete use of AI. In other words, you have asked, you've put the assignment brief into ChatGPT or into any of the other generative AI programs. You uploaded the learning material, so study unit 4 and 6, all the prescribed articles, and you merely said, answer this. And I've had students fighting me about this AI, but the issue is we can also pick it up very easily. There are certain dead giveaways of students using AI in an unethical manner. And I want to reiterate that we do not allow the unethical use of AI. Using a tool like Grammarly to assist you with your writing, with your grammar and with your spelling, that's fine. But the moment that it is rewriting complete sentences in brand new words, that is then no longer your work. So that is also not a very ethical way of using AI. So yes, you can use Grammarly as you would have previously used the feature that Word had to check your writing. That is completely fine. But it can't be rewriting your sentences in such a way that the meaning has now completely changed. Because that is something that Copilot can do for you, for example. But oftentimes, Copilot, because it has the source references, for example, something as simple as that, it can now go into its big brain and find new ways of writing it, which was not the way that you were writing it. And remember, every time a student uploads this assignment, AI is learning. So every time AI is giving you answers to your questions, the AI is learning. So that is why almost every single assignment, and I'm not kidding, started with almost the exact same introductory sentence, because 90% of students just threw in their assignment brief and the prescribed readings into a generative AI program, and therefore AI gave all of you the exact same introduction, almost to the word. That is why 80% used BTS Army as their example, because that was the one that was provided by generative AI. So yes, we we were deducting a lot of marks. You would have seen anything up to 20%, that was okay. 20 to 60%, we deducted 5 marks, that is 10%. 60 to 80%, we deducted 10 marks, that's 20%. 80% and up would have technically given you a sort of first warning towards a disciplinary, but we have deducted 20 marks, 40%. And this is a very, very strong warning for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 students out of the 480 registered. Do not, in your exam portfolio, use AI in an unethical manner. You are at third year level. We expect you to be able to understand the content that we have provided you. You have your study guide, the 2 learning units there, and you have prescribed readings. You need to, and when you get the feedback for assignment 2, you will also see how we ideally wanted you to answer the question. In all honesty, many of you have an ideal answer because you asked AI and it provided a very good answer in very many times. But the issue is that was not you doing the thinking. You are going to go, if you are not already in a field or already working, but we want to put students out there that can think critically. And we are worried about our students' ability to think critically because they are, and I'm preaching to the choir, I'm sure of it, but yes, we are all very busy. We have very busy schedules, but we cannot. 10 years ago, we did not have this, and students were doing their assignments, and they were doing the reading, and they were putting in the time. They were also working, some of them. They were also full-time parenting or parenting and working. And they were able to do their assignments, and they were able to get good marks, and they were able to graduate with a clean conscience. So please, we are asking you, and do not use AI in an unethical manner. You are more than welcome to ask, please explain this concept to me. That is fine, but then you're not allowed to go use that explanation. That is an explanation that should assist you in understanding a concept if you don't understand a concept. Or if it's a word, rather use the dictionary than asking AI. If it's one term, look it up in the dictionary, in the online dictionary. But please, 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 please refrain from using AI in an unethical manner. Okay, then technical presentation. For your exam portfolio, we are going to revert back to 10 marks for technical presentation. The source verification log worked very well. Most of you did include it. Most of you completed it. 80% had AI completed for them. But we are going to revert back to how we usually looked at technical presentation. So 10% of your exam portfolio, 10 marks, will go towards technical presentation. This includes a properly formatted table of contents. So let me say this, and I did include this in your assignment to prep as part of one of the announcements. You should start any submission with a title page. That title page should be followed by the Declaration of Originality. It is a very specific declaration. It is the one that is up on my UNISA under COM 3705 under additional resources. It's the one where you have to tick several boxes and then have to complete 5 questions. So that is the declaration. That is then followed by your table of contents. And once again, that table of contents need to be formatted in a very specific way. And that is in the CMN-All 301. You can literally just copy that example that they have of a table of contents and then just complete it with the headings that you are going to have and the correct page numbers. So that is very, you should score those marks easily. Then consistent in-text referencing. Every thought, that is not your thought. So any bit of theory that you are relating to me, even if it is in your own words, that wasn't your idea. You didn't theorize that. You need to in-text reference. Okay, so consistently use in-text referencing and reference correctly. Then you will have a list of sources consulted. It is not a bibliography. There is a big difference between a bibliography and a list of sources consulted. You are writing or compiling a list of sources consulted. And that list of sources consulted will contain all the UNISA materials, so your study guide and any other relevant UNISA study material, for example, the CMN-All 301, and then all the prescribed readings that you will need to complete for this particular exam portfolio. But the list of sources consulted was not required of you in your assignment 2. You had the source verification log. If you included a list of sources consulted, you didn't lose marks, but it wasn't necessary. So no marks were awarded. I did comment every now and then that you included this, it wasn't necessary, but just have a look and do it correctly. So also refer to CMN-All 301 to look at how a list of sources should be consulted. Something simple like the title of a book or the title of a journal should always be in italics. So for all of those things, you are going to lose marks if you're not doing it correctly. If you don't have a declaration, it'll be a big deduction. No Turnitin report will for the exam portfolio, and I will repeat this again, will result in us not marking your assignment. Therefore, students, if you are scanning your assignment, a Turnitin report cannot be generated. The same if you handwrite your assignment, and that will also be a scanned assignment. A Turnitin report cannot be generated if it is a scanned document. So they won't generate a Turnitin report, and therefore you will get no marks. So please be aware of that. So that is a technical presentation. And in this case, once again, there was quite a lot of technical presentation issues. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. I wanted to just read you a few things. So yes, so I've mentioned the table of contents in terms of technical presentation, the Declaration of Originality. So that's the one that's under additional resources. You've lost marks if you didn't include it. You lost marks if you included the incorrect one. The list of sources consulted, which you did not have to include for assignment 2, but which you will have to include for assignment 3, which is your exam portfolio. So referencing, as I've mentioned, is extremely important. You need to fully reference each of your sources cited in your text, as well as in the list of sources consulted. You must use correct in-text referencing, and then be aware of sporadic referencing, because that is a form of plagiarism, as I've mentioned. You need to reference every piece of knowledge that you present in your assignment from a source. And then be careful of providing or including too many direct quotes. At third year level, you need to put theory into your own words, because that allows us to see that you understand that you are reading. So, of course, you still need to reference these paraphrase texts. And using too many direct quotes obviously is not reflecting that you are at a third year academic level. Okay. And that is sort of the main technical requirement issues that we found in your assignment. And then when it came to just answering the questions, many of you did very well, even those who did not use AI in an unethical manner. The assignment used a very interesting case study, and it asked you to think about your situation and your context. And I think that that did speak to you. We are doing something very similar in the exam portfolio. You will see that we are looking at, once again, a case study. This time, however, we are going to concentrate on international marketing and on tourism, for example, and on the reputation of a country. So, and looking then once again at a very specific case study that we are providing you, that is relevant and that is new and that is interesting. So many of you did very well when it came to the content. I just found that some of you didn't engage with the content in enough depth. And that just relates to many times you maybe not understanding the theory as well yet, or not having such a strong grasp on the theory. And in some cases, I think it was also just a case of a lot of you maybe waiting a bit long before starting on the assignment. Remember, there is a lot of reading that you have to do. You saw that in assignment 2. It's going to be the same for assignment 3. Start, and obviously your exams and your exam portfolios are going to be sort of stacked one on top of each other, almost all at the same time. So once that assignment 3 or exam portfolio goes live tomorrow, start with the reading. First, read your brief and then start with the reading. Say you're going to read one article a day. Highlight what is important in the article that is relevant to the assignment brief, the exam portfolio brief. We want to really see you engage with the theory and be able then to relate it to the case study, and once again, we will be asking you for reflections that relate to yourself, and we will be asking you for examples from, for example, South Africa or another place. So we want you to look beyond just the readings that we are providing you, because that sort of broadens your horizon as well. So that is sort of the main feedback that I have for assignment 2. And I think this, what I've mentioned is, and I've seen that in other modules that I've marked as well this time around, it is very similar issues that we see across the board. And that is a case of AI use and of students not fulfilling the technical requirements, and then just students not taking the time to engage with the material. As I've mentioned, for the exam portfolio, there will be a lesson on study unit 5, there will be a lesson on study unit 7, and they will be geared towards what I am asking in the exam portfolio. So I won't be dealing with content that falls without the scope of the exam portfolio. So listen to those lessons. I realize once again that we are all very much stressed for time, but those classes aren't long, and there are certain notional hours for each module that you are actually supposed to have. So listen to those lessons, watch those lessons, and then we will be presenting at least 2 live assignment preparation classes where I will once again where I will go through the brief and then we'll take questions from the students. And these sessions are so important. So when I post them on the announcements, see whether you are able to attend them and come armed with questions. Um, I I know a lot of names from students that are attending the sessions, and I can see that they have taken what they've learned in those sessions and actually applied it. And they came with questions. I answered those questions, and you can see that it helped them in actually doing better than some of the other students. So, yes, keep that in mind as well. I'm now going to open the floor to the students who are here today. If you have any questions pertaining your particular assignment, I can go to your assignment, look at something if you're unsure about it. Maybe just some background as well, that this year was the first year in a very long time that we did not have any external markers. So the colleagues in the department, we have been marking all of the submissions for all of the assignments. So if there is something that you are unsure about, let me know, and please be patient with us because we are all of a sudden marking thousands of assignments where we used to mark, say, 50 of each module. So yes, I'm just saying that we should all give each other grace. But if you are unsure about a mark allocation, if you're unsure about anything, this is the opportunity for you to ask me if you want to. Otherwise, you can always just write me an email. And then the in-depth feedback I will be providing you over the course of this week. Once again, it's just been sort of a backlog on admin side. So I'm just waiting for the final tutorial letter 201 where you will find in-depth feedback answering where I've provided answers to all of the questions. I see that Oratile is typing, so I'm going to wait for her to type. In the meanwhile, if you can think of something to ask, please raise your hand or type it in the chat, or otherwise, as I said, please send me an email. Oh, thank you so much, Oratile. It is a pleasure. I have to apologize, Makoti. I'm going to call on you now. I have to apologize to some of you who I didn't answer immediately. I have been booked off since the 20th of April with shingles. I am actually still in bed and am actually booked off for another 2 weeks, but we are in a big crunch, as you can realize. So I don't have anyone else to stand in for me. So I am going to be doing as much as I can, but at the same time, I will be taking some time every afternoon or so for myself because the only way to recover from shingles is to take very strong pain medications and rest, which I am only doing one of at the moment. Makoti, you can go ahead, just switch on your microphone and you can ask your question.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm very well, thanks.
I wanted to find out something about that Turnitin
Yes.
report, right? So,
Yes.
you earlier about it. So I wanted to find out the Turnitin report generates the first time that you submit your assignment or your portfolio.
Yes. Yes, that is correct.
So you, even if the portal's still open, you only have like one chance to submit the assignment, or do you get a few like tries?
No, we only give you a single try for the portfolio. So I would
Oh,
advise you rather work on it, get it as do it as well as you can, and then submit your portfolio. Yeah.
okay. Thank you so much. I hope
Yes.
you see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, sorry, now I muted myself. Sorry about that. Please do keep in mind the Turnitin report and the fact that you only have a single submission. Linda, you can switch on your mic if you have a question.
Yes, my question was regarding the Turnitin colors. So on my assignment, I've noticed I've got a lot of oranges.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you it should give you, so for every different, and I suspect that is then for the general plagiarism and not for the AI. So it highlights different sources or whatever you have used, even if it's, for example, UNISA material, it will highlight in different colors. So the color does not necessarily mean anything. It's just the different sources that have been highlighted in different colors. So the study guide, for example, is uploaded. So it might pick up the study guide. The study guide in some instances has direct quotes. And if you've used similar wording, it might pick that up from the original source. So that is merely referring to or highlighting the same source. So if it's, for example, if your declaration was highlighted all in orange, that is just because every single student uploaded the declaration. And that is why I also said that we know very well how to interpret both of those reports, the AI similarity box for similarity. Ooh. Mm. Sorry, I'm so sorry, students. Apologies for that. All of a sudden, the internet just cut off completely. Yes, so just quickly going back to the highlight is just for every single source that you might have used. For anything it picks up, it will use a different color, but it doesn't mean anything per se. Okay. So if there are nothing at this particular moment, I just want to really thank the six of you for joining me this afternoon. I really appreciate it. I have recorded the session. I will, once it has buffered and everything, I will upload it onto my UNISA. Please keep a eye out on announcements. I will place an announcement when we have the tutorial letter 201 up on my UNISA. And then tomorrow morning, we are uploading the exam portfolio brief as well as all the prescribed readings. And through the course of this week and next week, we will have the pre-recorded lectures for study unit 5 and study unit 7. And we will start with our live sessions in preparation for the exam portfolio next week already as well. So thank you very much, students. I appreciate your attendance. I am an email away. Sometimes it's just please, once again, if you can just spare me a little bit of grace until the 25th of May. I might not get to you immediately. So, but thank you very much, everyone. And I want to say speak, and I'm saying it in inverted commas, we will speak again soon. Have a lovely week. Goodbye.